In today's video, I'll show you an inexpensive little train set that I bought for just $59 at Walmart. It's called the Santa Express, and it's got some interesting little features that were thoughtfully designed. And it would be a great little set to get for your kids or grandkids to get them started in the world of model trains. Something like this in G scale would set you back somewhere between $300 and $500. So at just $59, I'd rate this battery-operated toy train set a pretty great value. So yesterday I was in my local Walmart store to buy some lights to put up on the outside of our house, and right there on the shelf next to the Christmas lights were two different model train sets that they had for sale. Both sets were from a company called EZTEC. There was a small set for just $29, but what really caught my eye was this much larger set that was selling for $59. Now, when I say larger, I mean not only did this set come with more pieces, but also the trains themselves were physically larger, not that much different in size from the G-scale model trains I normally run at my house. Here's my G-scale Thomas the Tank Engine next to the locomotive from this $59 set. You'll see right on the outside of the box that this set includes 41 pieces, but be aware that 14 of those pieces are just the little signs that you can put up alongside of the tracks, and 20 of the pieces are individual pieces of track. That just leaves 7 other important pieces, which are the locomotive, the tender, a gift car, a snowman car, a light-up skating car, a caboose, and a station that lights up. Now, if you're wondering about all those wires you see in the center, you actually just end up throwing all that away. No wires are required to run this thing. The wires are to enable a little demonstration of the lights and sound. When you see the box in the store, you'll see a thing on the box that says, "Try me." Push that button, and you'll get a little demo of the lights and sounds. All those wires you see inside the box are just to make that work. The very first thing you can do when you unbox this thing is to disconnect all those wires and throw the entire demo wiring piece away. Now, once you've unboxed it, set up the tracks, installed the batteries, and placed all the train cars on the track, you're ready to run it. Let me just mention that as far as batteries go, you'll need 4 C batteries to power the locomotive, 3 AA batteries to power the lights in the train station, and 6 AAA batteries to power the lights on a couple of the cars. They were very smart to put this information right on the front of the box, so when you're in the store about to buy this, you can look right on the box to see exactly what kind of batteries to buy along with it. It's a very easy to assemble train set, and I didn't even have to look at the instructions to figure out how to put it all together and make it work. I remember reviewing a different inexpensive holiday train set a few years ago that wasn't quite as straightforward as this one. I remember having to get the instructions out to figure out how to put the batteries in on that one. This one was designed in a much more smart manner, but there was still one little thing I had to look up in the instructions to figure out. This train set has a sound system built into the locomotive to provide some train sounds, as well as some short pieces of Christmas music. But when I first set this train up, it wasn't obvious to me how to get those sounds to play. In reading the instructions, I learned that to turn the sounds on, you just rotate the silver bell on top of the locomotive. In other words, the on-off switch for the sounds is disguised as a bell on top of the locomotive. I think it was a very smart design to provide the ability to turn the sounds on and off, because I think that after a while it does get a little annoying listening to the sounds that this thing makes. So it's great to be able to switch the sounds off when you want to, and when you do that, this is what the train sounds like when it's running without the sound effects enabled. I think of this as be nice to mom and dad mode. They came up with a lot of really thoughtful design ideas for some of the rail cars. The skating car and the snowman car were very clever ideas. The snowman twirls around and he's inside a snow globe with little flakes of snow that actually get stirred up and blown around automatically. It's quite clever. And as you can see, the ice skater twirls around too. And the train station has lights too. So they designed in a lot more than just the bare minimum that most cheap train sets would be expected to have. I mentioned earlier that it comes with 20 pieces of track. That's 12 curved pieces and 8 straight pieces. You can arrange those in several different patterns. I made an oval-shaped layout, but you could do a circle or whatever you want. If you find that your train is derailing, like this one is going to do in 3, 2, 1, check the track, and you'll probably find that you didn't completely snap together 2 of the track pieces. When the track isn't snapped together fully, you get these derailments when the train passes over the improperly connected section of track. If you've got the track snapped together just right, the train should run flawlessly. I'm going to let it just run here for a minute with the locomotive's built-in sound effects turned on so you can get a good idea of what it sounds like when the sounds are on. If those sound effects start to annoy you after a while, just turn them off. I find that if you play a little Christmas music in the background while the train is running, it's a lot more enjoyable. So there you have it, the EZTEC Santa Express train set, which I bought at my local Walmart store for $59. I don't believe they offer this on Walmart.com, so look for it in your local store and see if you can find one for your kids or grandkids. At my local store, they have them in the same department where they sell boxes of Christmas lights and other Christmas decorations. It was not in the toy department, where you might think that something like this would be.